Hello everyone, Storm 101 here. Today we'll be tracking a major winter storm that will be going on across the portions of the Midwest, eventually getting into the Ohio Valley. That's going to be the first part of the storm system. The new storm system will start to develop somewhere around the mid-Atlantic and could bring quite a bit of snow across these regions right in here. And these will be the areas to watch over the next couple of days for quite a bit of snow. So let's go to get started with the GFS model, the 18Z model run. So as we move on here, we're going to have a strong low that comes off from the Colorado mountains. You see you got 995 millibar low. We're going to watch for this area here for some severe weather potential. The SPC has highlighted some of those regions, maybe the chance for an isolated tornado for uh, really, I'll just say northwestern Arkansas, eastern Oklahoma, southwestern Missouri, maybe getting into portions of Kansas. So if any of you guys live in those areas, you may need to watch for the possibility for some severe weather somewhere in that region there, which it does include like places like Tulsa, Joplin, Missouri, some of those areas there. So we are at Saturday evening, so about 24 hours away from now. We start to see some heavy snow try to pop up across Illinois, eventually get into Indiana, up into Iowa, and then Wisconsin. You can see here, a little bit further north here, Chicago's going to have a pretty good hit of snow out of this, guarantee you. With this Indianapolis, it's going to be a very close call for you guys, unfortunately. We're going to see. You guys are just going to be right on the edge of this thing. You're going to be on the edge of getting probably nearly nothing. Although, let me say this first. You guys will have a round of snow at the beginning of the system. What I mean by is there's going to be a warm front that be coming through here, and on the north side of this warm front, there's going to be rounds of moderate to heavy snow. But for a lot of these regions here that will experience heavy snow, the warm front will pass and it will transition over to rain. And that's the unfortunate part for some of these regions here. So that's like places like Kentucky, southern Ohio, southern Indiana, and into central Illinois for some of those regions there. As we move on, quite far to the north than what other models predicting, the GFS kind of has a little hard time with this system here, handling it. I don't think it's really have a good handle with this. And then you can see here, that low that was bringing winter storm conditions across some of those regions there in the Midwest is now dying down. Should die out somewhere in the West Virginia mountains. The new low develops here. It's going to transfer its energy to the new low. And it's going to track just east of the coast here. And what's going to happen here is it's going to slow down here. You got a pretty good snow shield, really, from the Appalachian Mountains up along the East Coast here, up into Maine. So you got quite a large snow shield here, pretty much along the I-95 corridor. You can see how it sits there. There's going to be blocking just to the north there. That's going to make this system here slow down and kind of sit there for a little bit. And then as that blockade kind of eases a little bit, eventually the system here will actually move out. So pay attention to this region here. This is the area we're going to watch for a lot of snow potentially, which includes New York City here. But I think generally speaking, New Jersey may get the bullseye out of this entire system here because of where it sits there. It's going to get multiple rounds of moderate to heavy snow, and your snowfall accumulations could be easily be high. So that's how we're going to watch for. So this is the GFS ensembles. You can see here areas of the purple, 6+ inches. Now this is just an average from 20 members. You can see here it's got a pretty good hit around Chicago, across northern Illinois, northern Indiana, eventually into northern Ohio. Definitely some pretty decent hits here and there. And let's move our view to the Mid-Atlantic. And you can see here with the bullseye here, it's a little bit further back to the west, a little bit more focused across southern Pennsylvania with over a foot of snow across these regions here. But then again, we got to pay attention to this region right in here, which does have some highly populated areas in those regions. So we'll be watching for that. Let's take a look to some more snowfall maps. We'll take a look to the European model. It's got some areas reaching possibly a foot or a little bit more, but to keep in mind that some of these regions, especially on the southern fringe of this here, it's going to transition over to rain. So a lot of the snow is going to melt here. So just to keep in mind of that. Now this pretty much goes for the entire event. You can see here portions of Kentucky. That's going to be some wraparound snow from the first low that'll be sitting around here. So just to keep in mind of that. Other than that, pretty good snow swath across northern Indiana into a good chunk of Ohio. I mean, some places getting up to a foot of snow. That's quite a bit there. If we move our view a little bit further to the east, you can see here what I'm talking about, right around New Jersey. It's got some places getting over 20 inches of snow, which may be a little bit accurate in my opinion here, because if you're on a stationary low right here, you're going to get multiple rounds of snow that can be heavy at times. So I think the European mall may have a little bit of better handle with that region there. But look around Boston, a foot plus of snow. Decent amount of snow could be coming for those folks there as well. Let's move to the higher risk Canadian now. Keep in mind, it's not going to go for the entire event. However, it does go for the first part of the storm, which is going to be across the Midwest. You can see here areas of the purple, that's 6+ inches of snow. You can see here, it got a pretty good area of 6+ inches of snow across some of these regions here. And again, keep in mind, on the southern fringe of this, it's all going to transition over to rain. So just to keep in mind of that. And it's even got some areas getting a little over a foot across central Indiana, eventually into west central Ohio. Then lower amounts as you kind of get into eastern Ohio. But keep in mind, the highest Canadian does not go through the entire event, as you can see here. And you see here, it does not go through the entire event. And it's still snowing at this point across these regions here. And it does have some spots a little over a foot. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what's going to happen here. The NAM is pretty much the same way. It's not going to go throughout the entire event. Although it's quite widespread across portions of Minnesota, Wisconsin. I don't think it's going to be that widespread, to be honest. Of 6+ inches of snow. And also, I think the NAM's a little bit of an outlier across these regions here. It kind of has a little bit of a snow hole right in here, which I have some doubts with that. But look right around Chicago. 10+ inches of snow. Quite a bit of snow there. And you can see here decent amount of snow along the west coastline of Lake Michigan there as well. So this is going to be something we'll be paying attention to. And even moves across northern Indiana, eventually getting into a good chunk of Ohio, with some areas picking up close to a foot of snow. But then again, I think the NAM's going to be a little bit of an outlier with this. And again, does not go through the entire event, but does have some areas picking up over a foot of snow across these regions. So we're going to wait and see what these balls show in the next couple runs. It'll probably go through the entire event by tomorrow, so we'll take a look at those balls probably tomorrow or the next day after that. So the last model we're going to take a look at is the Canadian model. You can see here, pretty good swath of 6+ inches of snow across these regions here. It's got some areas as high as 10 inches, like around Chicago, central northern Illinois, central northern Indiana, eventually getting to western Ohio. It kind of ends a little bit early with some of this heavy snow stuff here. You have most balls have it getting to the eastern side, but the Canadian model says it's probably some of that heavy snow is probably going to stop somewhere in western Ohio. But I think some of those heavier snows will probably continue to a little bit more of central and eastern Ohio, in my opinion. And then here's the Canadian model. Now this one here goes for the entire event. Now when you see these pink colors here, or reds, that's a foot plus of snow, which it does have some areas picking up a little over 20 inches. in some spots. So decent amount of snow could be coming for some of these regions here. Definitely for sure. And something I almost forgot. Let's take a look at some of those. Take a look to the Weather Prediction Center's outlook here. Now this is the overall winter storm impacts for the next 3 days. You can see your areas in the orange. That's where you can see moderate impacts here. You can see Evema goes across some portions of Virginia. Also, for some of these regions here, we're going to watch for western Virginia, venturing into western North Carolina. Some of those areas could see a decent amount of ice, possibly up to a quarter of an inch of ice, which is a decent amount. So we got to pay attention to some of these regions here. So if you live in western North Carolina, central and western Virginia, watch out for the potential for a decent amount of ice, which can cause some issues out there. And that's pretty much the reason why we do have moderate impacts forecasted by the Weather Prediction Center because of that ice potential across those regions. Let's move up a little bit further north. You can see the moderate impacts does include around Chicago. Does not quite include Madison, Wisconsin, though. It doesn't really quite get to some of those regions. But areas in the yellow, you can see some minor impacts from this storm system. And if we take a look at the alerts here with this, take a look to the hazard outlook here really quick. So areas in the pink here, these are winter storm warnings that's in effect here, which includes east central Iowa, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and a couple of counties across northwestern Indiana. And then in these blue colors here, these are winter storm watches, which may get extended a little bit further to the southeast, but we'll see about that. And then areas in the purple, those are just winter weather advisories. And let's move our zone here to the mid-Atlantic. We do have winter storm watches in effect for eastern West Virginia, central and western Virginia, western North Carolina, pretty much all of Maryland, central southern New Jersey, and for a few counties in southeastern Pennsylvania. And that's where we do have some winter storm watches. For some of these areas, it's for ice. Some of these other areas, it's for snow. Which don't be surprised if these winter storm watches do get expanded up along the coastline there as well. So I only made my forecast for the first half of the storm because we don't have a lot of information from the model guidance and stuff like that for the snow potential across those regions. Although I do have a decent idea here across these regions here, but we don't have a whole lot of model data yet. So areas in the white here, that's where you could possibly see a coating to an inch of snow. Areas in the light blue, that's where you could see some totals that could be 1 to 3 inches. Areas in this kind of blue color here, that's where you could see 3 to 5 inches of snow. Then areas in dark blue, that's where you could possibly see 5 to 8 inches of snow. And then areas in the purple, which it does include Chicago, Fort Wayne there as well. And that's where you could see 8 inches to possibly up to a foot of snow. Now, areas in yellow, you guys will see snow at the start, but eventually it's going to transition over to rain. So those snowfall accumulations that's going to be happening, the snow that'll be first coming in before the warm front passes, it's not going to include into the forecast. So keep in mind that. And you'll see some snowfall accumulations. Good news is if people don't like snow or travel issues, it will transition over to rain and it should melt most of that away. So that's pretty much all you got for you guys today. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys like this video, hit that like button. If you really do like my channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification so you never miss an upload. If you guys got questions about this, you can put in the comment section down below. I'll answer you guys' questions. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.